Okay, we're going to take a couple minutes here, and I'm going to give you a brief overview of a couple things on our architecture, and we're going to dive right into a real interesting scenario here that Bob is going to take us through. To start off with, first I'd like to tell you that first of all, the McCollough is an outstanding ERP platform, rich and robust with very deep layers of inventory control and management capabilities. And I can remember the first time I saw it was back in the early 90s, and I worked at J.D. Edwards and was blown away by the capabilities within McCollough. So definitely an outstanding platform to work with. The philosophy at WiSys is to leverage the latest technologies to advance the McCollough environment through continuous improvement to an optimized state. And so what the way we look at things is from a perspective of operational performance management. And to that end, I think there's varying degrees of where a company sits. At the incipient stages, you see kind of a static state. And that's where McCollough is. It's out of the box. It's kind of a paper-based system that requires many steps, very thorough, but they're all there. But it's what we would call more of a static state. In the dynamic state, this is where a company becomes more real-time, and it requires a sequence of streamlining steps and processes to put good and complete information into the system. And that's where we're pushing up this hill towards continuous improvement. And those are the tools that we provide. In the agile state, we kind of think of that as you cannot succeed at what you do not measure. And at that point, it's really being able to respond quickly to customers, to manage vendors, to monitor key processes and act upon them. WiSys started back in 2004. We currently have about 200 customers, and we are 100% focused on McCollough. That's all we focus on. Probably more institutional knowledge than any company on the planet exists at WiSys, and that many of the founder of McCollough, Bruce Hollinger, is the CEO of WiSys, and many of the original developers are there. So this is our focus. This is where we put all of our energy and time. Okay, architecturally, just a couple things here I just wanted to cover before we get into things here, but we build our solutions to take advantage of Microsoft's .NET technology. For those of you who don't maybe understand that, that's really an XML web service platform that allows us to build super rich .NET applications, allowing users to access it allows them access through a wide range of smart devices, and what that really means is easy application deployment and maintenance and simplified development. In this technology stack, we have built out some robust transactions using our objects to more elegantly process transactions in a manner that each customer requires. So we're able to take any existing McCollough transaction, whether it's modified, customized, and feed that transaction into the ERP system. So this is kind of where it all starts. We wrapper this with our agility framework, which is really a radically new way of looking at operational information. And you'll get a chance to see some of this today because it has a real Microsoft Outlook look and feel to it, and so you'll feel comfortable with that. So, going back to the slide that I showed you previously about the real-time environment, this really starts with processing transactions with the required level of detail, capturing information at its first touch point, and that's kind of what we're all about here. This promotes better compliance, more efficient movements, better understanding of costs, better customer service levels, and significantly more efficient logistics. So it's this agile environment that's accomplished when the operations are current, correct, compliant, and now at that point we can start to examine, inspect, measure, monitor, act, and analyze things. So with that, what I'm going to do is hand the floor over to Bob. And Bob's going to kind of take us through a flow here that will really show you some ways that we simplify and streamline transactions. Oh, hang on one second. Bob, there you go. The floor is all yours, Bob.
All right, thank you, John.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, thanks everybody. Again, this is Bob. I'm going to take a look at just maybe to open up the presentation and start it from a place of order demand. And my presentation is going to be more of a flow type demonstration. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a dashboard. I'm going to open that up.
And Bob, I'd just like to mention real quick, I'm going to be monitoring questions that you can type. So if you have any questions that you're confused about, feel free to type a question. I'll answer them as they come in, and then we can repeat those at the end too for anybody else who'd like to hear those.
All right. I've dragged some things into my favorites area here. I'll see if I can open this up. Okay. Let's go back to McCollough here for a second. And I'm going to start with my order that I've entered into the system. Now, whether that order comes in through EDI, whether that order comes in through some type of typing, that's fine. I just wanted to show you here that I've got an order in the system. I'm going to be manufacturing s'mores. S'mores are those favorite campfire foods made of marshmallow, graham crackers, and chocolate. So I'm going to be working with items that are lotted and binned today. If we take a look at our bill of material for that particular item, if I look at s'mores, my bill of resource here, I've got a very simple bill of resource: graham crackers, chocolate, and marshmallows. So each one of these items needs to be issued to that shop order, that pop order that I'm going to make today. Okay, so we've got an order in the system. Now, the couple of things I wanted to point out would be I want to start with some setup issues to build a foundation so that we can actually see how WiSys is going to use some detailed tools to help with our process. So I'm going to go into WiSys setup. I know this is a little bit technical, but it should be okay. And I want to look at our document management system. And I want you to think of a document that can be printed on demand, where you don't have to go to a computer to get it, decide how many copies you want, what customer is it for. What if everything was inside SQL Server, and what if it was linked up to a transactional process? So as an example, let's look at receiving. When I do some receiving today, I'm going to print a crystal report, and it's going to look just like this. So this is my UPS size label that I'm going to print and put on the tote of chocolate that I receive. And it can have anything on it. You can put the receiver, anything you want to get out of crystal, you can stick on there. And it's going to prompt me for how many copies do I want at the time of receiving. Now the same is true on the pop manufacturing side. When I do a finished good, I'm going to print a label. And that label is going to look somewhat similar. This is going to be my order number, my description, my lot number, my date, my quantity. So as I go through my process, and I'm going to print off a label there. And finally, on the shipping side, a couple of things there. I'm going to have a carton content label. I know some people like to maybe print a document, maybe an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that goes into every carton. So those are all transactional possibilities. So I'm going to continue on. And I want to look at something that we call Lot Builder. And WiSys has an option here so that when I actually manufacture something that's a lot, when I produce it, I want to be able to have a lot number look just the way I want it. So in my example, I'm going to use a Julian date, which is a 7-digit number. And I'm going to also reach into McCollough to a table column lookup, and I'm going to look at the pop order, and I'm going to grab the pop order number. And there's a lot of options in here. You can use the standards in McCollough, which is static global or the sequential global. You can go get any table and column that's relevant to what you need to do, dates, times, etc., even manual entry. So rather than have to pre-print your lots and pre-print your labels for production, imagine if they just came out on the specific line that you needed at the work center where you were actually doing the work, and you could physically apply it to the product or the box at that time. Those are the two setup things I wanted to show you. Okay, in order entry, we have our order for s'mores, and we want to go in and look at our, pretend that we are the production manager for a moment. So let's go to something that we call pop pick tickets, and I really look at this as more of an order release management process grid. And I have my orders stacked right now. These are all my possible orders in this location. These are my pop orders. And I can customize this view. I might want to look at it by item. So here are my orders by item. So when I find the items that I want to manufacture, I can just simply pop these up and make a decision. I can see that the order is unreleased, and I have a problem. I've got a shortage. If I right mouse, I can see the shortage. I'm short on the O3 product, which I know is my chocolate. I keep having shrinkage problems on that product. I just don't know why. So let's see what we can do. We're going to have to pick up the phone. We're going to have to call the purchasing department and talk to receiving. And let's go ahead and do that. So we'll make the call. We're going to go to the shipping department. And I'm going to start talking to the receiving guy. And don't you know, lo and behold, that the truck just showed up with our raw materials. And we're going to be able to expedite those right now. So I'm going to use the handheld computer. And the WiSys handheld computer is actually a very small terminal server application. So I'm running it today in my emulator so I can display it for the web. But it's really the same application that would run on the handheld device. And you can see it's a small little screen. The WiSys applications work equally well with Progression or ES. So I have a ES company here that I'm going to work with today, but I also have my demo bike company, which is Progression. So I can do demos in either one just right here. And you can have any number of companies you want to display. I'm going to go ahead and scan my badge, enter my password, and now I have my own unique menu. And this is really nice. I've been on site at customers where some of the employees have low English skills, and they get used to these pictures and they know what these are. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and do some receiving. And I could simply just shoot a barcode. And if that barcode is not the barcode I want, it's going to tell me there's nothing out there. That's a mistake. I'll go ahead and scan the right item.